Unsolved.
Episode 214, Zodiac Killer Case, William C. Hautz. William was born on February 16th, 1916. So he would have been 50 years old at the time of Cheri Jo Bates' murder. He's from German ancestry, and he's from Massachusetts, so he would have a slight accent. He served in the United States military for over 25 years, and so being in the Air Force, he would have been familiar with March Air Force Base in Southern California and Travis Air Force Base in Northern California. His fingerprints and DNA have not been tested to any of the crime scenes. This video is only focusing on the murder of Cheri Jo Bates. Now here's just for what it's worth, here's a photograph of his mother. In the Riverside murder of Cheri Jo Bates, the suspect was a white male with brown hair and average size because his wrist size was slightly smaller than average. And in the San Francisco murder of Paul Stine, the suspect was between 35 and 45 years old, 5'10", 180 pounds to 200 pounds, medium heavy build, barrel chested, medium complexion, light colored hair, possibly graying in the rear, crew cut, wearing glasses. Now for a little background on William. According to this newspaper article, William, when he was around 16 years old, was walking along with his friend Harold, and Harold was shot in the head, and only because his hand was on his forehead at the time, he didn't die. And the police investigation wasn't able to determine who shot him. Now in 1939, William was in the United States Army, and the United States Air Force split off from the United States Army, and so that's why he was over 25 years in the Air Force. In 1950, William relocated to San Bernardino, California, and he was traveling with his wife. He had gotten married and had a girl, and his father died, and someone put out this notice in the newspaper in El Paso trying to let him know what had happened. And when they got to San Bernardino, they purchased a house or were renting up on the hill a little bit in Waterman Canyon. And from this 1950 census, you can see that William wasn't always at home. He was in the military, and so he worked and he left, so he wasn't at home all the time. And in the census, it doesn't even list him, but he did live there. Now, William died in 1975, and his life wasn't all rosy. He divorced his wife in 1971. He had 3 daughters and a son. And you can see from this death notice that one of the daughters isn't mentioned here because she died traveling the wrong way on the freeway when she ran into a family of 3 and killed all of them in, 1973 or... The point is, even though it says he was a 25-year San Bernardino resident, not all fathers kind of stick around the house. They leave, they roam, and it's my impression that's how this gentleman was. So why do I suspect William? Well, his daughter, his oldest daughter, graduated from Pacific High School along with Michael Z in 1965. And then they both attended San Bernardino Valley College their freshman and junior years. And Patricia wrote this letter to the editor 1 year after the murder of Cheri Jo Bates, kind of implying that Michael Z is the one that killed Cheri Jo Bates. But what if it wasn't Michael? What if it was her father? He fits the description. What if he got this idea about calling himself Zodiac from Michael's calling himself Zodiac? Now, I don't know that Patricia or Michael Z knew Cheri Jo Bates, but what I do know is that RCC and San Bernardino Valley College played each other in basketball and football, and Cheri was a member of the cheerleading team, and her fiancé was a member of the football team prior to her murder. And Patricia and Michael were involved in school activities at San Bernardino Valley College. So, and Michael grew up in Riverside, so he might have known Cheri while he lived, in middle school, while he lived in Riverside. And so, I don't know how, but some crazy way, William decided to kill Cheri Jo Bates because his daughter or Michael knew her. And it's very possible he could have went to her house, followed her to the RCC college, pulled the wires on her car, and ultimately killed her. And he lives in the area, so he could have typed the confession letter, and he could have made it sound, one, he could be kind of nutty anyway, but he could have made it sound like he didn't know her, he was just a psycho killer. You have been watching a Nancy Drew show. Please subscribe if you like the show. Thank you. Well, this ends this episode of Unsolved. And when you create these videos and you talk about the case, things kind of settle in your mind or thoughts come into your mind. Cheri Jo Bates might have been killed not because of her, but because of Dennis Highland, her fiancé. Somebody could have been angry with him, and they killed her to get back at Dennis. Remember, her murder occurred about a week after she got engaged to Dennis.